Shed Talk, episode 4. No beer yet. We're gonna crack out the beer later. Thursday night football starting, so it's 6:45. So I wanted to wait a little bit before I had a beer or two. So, but for that water, hydrate, baby. And then if you guys can see the shirt on the spot, if you're listening to it on Spotify, sorry, you're just gonna miss out. But I figured I needed to make it up to the viewers slash listeners. Because last episode I accidentally wore the same shirt 2 episodes in a row. So I had to write the shit, correct the course, and we are wearing my frog shirt. It says "'Twas the carbs, my lord." Um, Before anyone asks, no, the frog on the picture, like the model, was not made after me. Okay, I knew you were gonna ask that. Somebody was thinking it. I needed to get that out of the way. Um, but welcome back. Happy Thursday. By the time this releases and drops, it will probably be Friday, September 5th. Unless you're just a dedicated listener, which in that case, I commend you. You're awesome. But most likely, it's Happy Friday if you're listening to this. What else to say other than that? But let's dive right into it. We got a big episode on hand with us. The majority of it is going to be college football based, NFL based. College football's week 2. NFL starts tonight. Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles. I'm gonna go Eagles money line. Fly Eagles fly. Dallas may cover. It's hard to bet against Philly. We're gonna go game by game in NFL. I'm just gonna give my picks for all of them. But before we dive into college football, I got a lot for that. I'm excited. I wanted to just get a touch on MLB real quick because, ladies and gentlemen, the Tampa Bay Rays are back. They are alive and well. The season is very much not over. There's 3 weeks left. Oh my God, they're 2.5 out of the wild card. I gave up on them a couple weeks ago. I was out. I didn't care. I stopped watching. I stopped even following them. I was just like, oh, another loss. Oh, another loss. What's new? I'm fully invested. I'm ready to be heartbroken yet again. Ready to experience true agony yet again. The last time I really probably got upset about the Rays, and not upset, just heartbroken. 2021 well, 2020 World Series, obviously they lost in 6 games to the Dodgers. Screw you. But then 2021, we won 100 games, won the division. I felt so good about it, and then we got mollywopped by the Red Sox in the playoffs. And then in 2022, I think that's actually where I turned the corner as a Rays fan in terms of just tempering my expectations. They pissed me the hell off. They were a mediocre team at best. They snuck into the wild card, went to Cleveland for the wild card series, and it's a best of 3. And so this weekend, at the time, I went to Savannah, Georgia for the first time ever. I went up there with my girlfriend at the time and her dad and stepmom. Lovely people. Yep, lovely parents. And Friday, I'm working Friday. The game starts Friday, first game of the series. While I'm at work, they go up 1-0. Great start, pitching well. They end up losing the game 2-1. Okay, you know what? Heartbreaker. We'll come back tomorrow. Tell me why this game, I believe, went 16 innings. 16. I think I might be an inning or two off. And they couldn't score a single run. I was walking around the bars of Savannah, Georgia, watching this team put up an absolute goose egg offensively every single inning. We went out in the morning drinking, okay? Drinking in the morning, bar hopping, all that, the whole kit and caboodle, whatever. You know how Savannah goes. Came back at midday. They all 3 of them wanted to go take naps. I said, yeah, sure, I don't really take naps. I'm not tired. I went into the living room and proceeded to still torture myself by watching that dog shit offense. They put up 1 run in 25 innings, I think it was that year. And then after that, I was done. I still watch them every night, but my expectations were tempered. The problem is I am way back now. They're red hot. They're 2.5 games out of the wild card. They just swept the Mariners, Cal Raleigh, Big Dumper, all that team. Get out of here. You guys just got swept by the Flappy Boys. But moving on, I went on a little bit of a tangent there, but I just want to let you guys know the Rays are alive. Playoff hopes are back on. I am fully invested again. That's enough for the MLB. We're good. Okay. I was gonna include something else. We're moving on. College football week 2. This is what I call the college football week 2 primer. I was told by my coworker Mike. He is actually, if you're on Spotify, he is the other person in the cover art for this channel. I think it's temporary cover art. I gotta come up with something, maybe AI based. I don't really want to take the easy way out and just have AI make a picture. But I have no artistic bone in my body. If anything, my bones lean more autistic than artistic, if that was a thing. But I'll figure something out for the cover art. I want to come up with something a little bit cooler because I post all these to YouTube as well, and I don't want that stupid picture I made a couple months ago to be it the entire time. But we'll move on. I'll come up with something. But regardless, he suggested that I should just make a sicko, like just an outlandish parlay, and I said, Mike, you are talking dirty to me right now at work. Absolutely. And so I did. I threw together 6 games. I was going to do 5, but I saw another one that looked really juicy to me, and so I added a 6th one. And I'm really excited for it. I just put $2 on it on Hard Rock. I think it's, let me pull it up real quick. $2 to win $158. So it can't miss. It's basically can't miss, I'm pretty sure. But the first game, Fresno State travels to Oregon State. Okay, Fresno State's, not a Power 4 team. They're a really good mid-major team. They're one of those teams that could contend to, what's the word I'm looking for? They could be the Group of 5 bid, the G5 bid for the playoffs because they get one guaranteed team. And they got a really good shot at being that bid, I'm just saying. But Oregon State is, I think, 6.5-point favorites in this game, which surprises me a little bit. No, 2.5. They're 2.5-point favorites, but I'm taking Fresno State, man. Give me the Bulldogs. I like the Bulldogs. They're kind of like these bullfrogs. Fresno State bullfrogs. I was pointing at the shirt for you people listening, but give me Fresno State with the upset on the road. I'm not a believer in Oregon State. I think Fresno State's like the mascot. They got that dog in it, man. Like, let's go. State, let's go. Make that case to be the G5 bid. Next one. Oregon, preseason top 5. I think they're actually number 6. Made the playoff last year. They won the Big Ten. Yada, yada, yada. They're 27. ESPN showed them as 27.5-point favorites against Oklahoma State, or as I like to call them, the Fighting Mike Gundys. But I just pulled it up when I was making the bet on Hard Rock. Oregon was 28.5-point favorites. So I actually got Oklahoma State plus 28.5 against Oregon. I really love it. Now, Oklahoma State, they're not the old Oklahoma State that they used to be with Mike Gundy. I saw that line and I was like, there's no way that a Mike Gundy team is 28.5-point underdogs. And then I went and looked at their schedule from last year, and then I realized why. They went 3-9. They won the first 3 games of the season against South Dakota State, Arkansas in double overtime, and Tulsa. And then they proceeded to lose the next 9. Now, what was saving me was I was going game by game, and none of those losses were by more than 28 points. Until their last game of the season, they lost 52-0 to Colorado. But keep in mind, Colorado, they had the whole Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders magic going on there. It was in Colorado, so I'm going to throw that away. It was last game of the season. That team was ready to go home, man. I'm not faulting them for that. Season was over already. You know what I mean? Season was already over. I'm not faulting them. Give me Oklahoma State plus 28.5. The Fighting Mike Gundys will at least cover on the road against Oregon. I'm not saying an upset. Now this next one, I am predicting an upset. I'm excited for this one. Mississippi State. I'm sticking with the Bulldogs right here because Fresno State Bulldogs winning against Oregon State. Now I'm going Mississippi State upsetting Arizona State. Now, you may think, the casual fan may be thinking, Arizona State literally just made the playoffs last year, took Texas down to the wire. Yeah, well, you know what? They don't have their GOAT, Cam Scatterbo, anymore. It's all about Mississippi State, man. They've got a really good quarterback. He's actually, if he could stay healthy, he's a very dynamic kind of player. I think, I'm just saying, They could shock a lot of people and just have some fun football. I don't think their defense is going to be that good. Offensively, they can stay in this game. And I'm just saying, Arizona State, maybe conference championship hangover from last year. Mississippi State is at home, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure Mississippi State's at home. Trying to scroll through. Yeah, it's Arizona State and Mississippi State. And you're giving me 6.5? I'm taking the other Bulldogs all the way. Go Bulldogs! Let's go. Number four on the list. This team was on my college football psycho matchups to watch last week. Kent State. Congratulated them on their first win in the last 22 games. I'm not taking them to win again. They're on the road, traveling to Lubbock, Texas, to face the mighty Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Texas Tech, if you don't know, they bought an entire roster this year with NIL money. They got that all money. I'm just saying, they got that Texas all money. They do. So their team is actually, if you see them in playoff picks, it's actually not that, surprising to see them in there. But, and so last week they won 67-7. Yeah, no name school, whatever. I'm not really concerned about that. What I am concerned about, that score, 67-7. Stay with me now. They've got a lot to prove. Texas Tech was not good last year. They have an entirely new roster this year. They are trying to make a statement early season before they get into conference play. They're sending a message. They're saying, we're here to stay. Like, we're for real. We aren't just a bunch of players that are getting paid, and as soon as we lose a game, we're going to clock it in, just hang in the towel. No, throw in the towel, whatever you want to say. No, they're going to put up another 50 this week on Kent State. I'm sorry, Kent State. It had to be this way. The over for this game is 59.5. So I'm taking the over. And look, Texas Tech themselves put up 67 last weekend. I don't think they repeat that again. I think Kent State is a little bit better than to give up 67. But I think Kent State's going to put up 14 maybe. I think Kent State will score at least 7 to 14 points. So let's say they score 7. I just need Texas Tech to score 53. That is asking for a lot. Wow, I'm saying this in real time, and I'm still asking for a lot. I think Texas Tech is going to run it up. There's going to be a lot of garbage time touchdowns. Just stay with me. This is the psycho pod. This is the psycho parlay for a reason. Okay, just stay with me. Texas Tech, Kent State over 59.5. This one, I actually, this isn't even a psycho one. I just saw this matchup. I did not even realize this was a matchup this weekend. I think this is going to be a hell of a game. This might be this might be the game of the weekend. I'm not going to lie. Kansas at Missouri. Now, look, Midwest teams, no one cares about them. I do. I care about, right here, Andy cares about this matchup. This is a really good matchup. Kansas is a sneaky, let me whisper real quick, sneaky. They're a sneaky playoff contender in the Big 12. Because the Big 12 is wide open. There's no juggernaut team in that conference. There might be a couple weaklings, but there's no team that's going to run away with this conference. I don't really see that happening. I think it's going to be almost like an SEC light, where this conference just beats itself up all season long. These teams, it's going to be a bloodbath all season with this conference play with these teams. And I think Kansas has if Jalen Daniels can stay healthy, he is an elite college quarterback. He is. I'm telling you, he can run, he can spin it. He's got a cannon of an arm, and he's really good in the run game. He just needs to stay healthy. But back to the matchup here. I think Kansas is traveling to Missouri. Okay, so okay, Road Warriors, whatever. It's not that big of a road trip for them, but it's a 3:30 kick, so it's not like a night game. You don't have the crowd that much into it. I'm also an Eli Drinkwitz hater. I don't like him. He beat Florida one year, and he kind of clowned, I think it was Dan Mullen, or maybe it was Billy Napier in his first season. And ever since then, he kind of just, I got a poster of him on the wall in my room, and I freaking throw darts at it every night. I'm just kidding. I don't. He's probably a cool guy. He just really pissed me off that year. But give me Kansas plus 6.5 for you. I really wanted to take the money line, but I figured I got a little bold. I want to play plus 6.5. I genuinely think they will win this game. I think they have a really good shot. But for now, Kansas, give me the Jayhawks plus 6.5 against Missouri. I'm saying an upset. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there, man. It's just out there. Last one, and this one, I can't lie. This one actually had zero logic behind it. But it is Rutgers. It's Miami of Ohio traveling to play the Rutgers. Okay, Rutgers University. Now the spread on this game is Rutgers minus 15 and a half, and I'm taking Rutgers minus 15 and a half. They struggled last week with their opponent in week one. I don't really care. I told you there's really no logic behind this one. I just noticed real quick that Rutgers last week played Ohio University or University of Ohio. I don't really know the lingo there. But okay, Ohio University. This week, they play Miami of Ohio. And then in their second to last game of the season, they play Ohio State. So, someone's got some explaining to do. What the hell's going on there, Rutgers? You guys thought you were slick. But like Andy, I see everything, dude. You're not sneaking that one past me. What are we doing here? I don't really know what the thought process was. Are you just trying to play the entire state of Ohio before the season's over? It's I don't really understand. I'm on to you. I don't. Again, this pick had no logic. It was more of just like Rutgers is being very bold by just scheduling all these Ohio teams, and I kind of dig it. So, yeah, that's my sixth leg. There's the parlay. All 16. I'll go over them again. Fresno State money line against Oregon State. Oklahoma State covering plus 28.5 against Oregon. Let's go Fighting Mike Gundy's. Mississippi State money line against Arizona State. They're at home, by the way. So being 6.5 dog at home, kind of crazy. Kent State at Texas Tech. I'm playing the over. I think Texas Tech puts up another 60 plus points in Kent State. You might reach double digits this week still. So that might be another moral victory. Which actually that could be like their half win in their last over under of 1.5 wins. I think if Kent State reaches double digits, points this week, I'd say give them the half and the over under, and that cashes. Kansas plus 6.5 at Missouri. Let's go Jalen Daniels. I will have my Kansas shirt on. I don't have a Kansas shirt, but I will pretend I do. And then Rutgers minus 15.5 against Miami of Ohio. That's the parlay. $2 for 158. I'm going to be a richer man come Monday, so beer's on me, just saying. And if it doesn't hit, I'm going to do it again next weekend. We'll be right back at it. That's just the way it goes. But that's my sicko primer of the weekend. Other than those matchups, this weekend doesn't have a lot of headliner matchups across the agenda, really. Nothing like last weekend where we had Texas, Ohio State, Miami, Notre Dame, LSU, Clemson, FSU, Bama. I think there's still some quality games this weekend, especially for week 2. I mean, let's keep it a buck right now. Usually in the past, week 2 is when Florida State is playing Jacksonville State. Florida is playing FIU and they're winning 10-7 at halftime. Not gonna go there. But this week we got some decent ones. You have Illinois, who's ranked number 11, on the road traveling to Duke. They're only a 2.5-point favorite, so that's going to be a good game. Iowa at Iowa State. I mean, that's the game of the week right there. Iowa State ranked 11th. Iowa always has a really good defense. Sorry, I can't get over this. I keep looking at the camera, and this frog on my shirt just keeps peering at the bottom of it. It's kind of cracking me up. Sorry, we got to get back on track. Iowa at Iowa State. That's going to be a hell of a game. Genuinely, that game might end, honestly, 17-13, but it's going to be a really entertaining 17-13. Not going to lie. And then we got some conference play starting. Virginia goes to NC State. Ole Miss and Kentucky. Like, we got SEC playing week 2. Ole Miss at Kentucky. Kentucky's down. There's not a lot of hype around Kentucky, but look, it's early season. I mean, this is like the Colorado Rockies every year at the beginning of the season, and lately the Chicago White Sox. Early season, everyone's got a lot of juice. They're all excited to play. They're all feeling the best they've ever felt. Like, the season hasn't gone off the rails yet. I mean, these games could go either way. I know Kentucky doesn't really have much going for them right now, but listen, this is like their Super Bowl. Like, this could be like their game of the year for them. So it could be a nail biter there. Let's see also the Fresno State Oregon State game. Regardless of what I bet, I think that game's just going to be a banger overall. I can't lie, like that. That's one of the better games of the weekend as well. Other than that, I'm kind of scrolling through ESPN. There's not a lot of other juicy matchups. UNC plays Charlotte. Surprisingly, that's on the road. So the Fighting Bill Belichick's, who didn't really show much of a fight Monday night. It's bad. That was such a pitiful performance. They go on the road to Charlotte. So I mean, they're not leaving the state, but like it's kind of an odd road matchup, I feel like, for a power forward team. But hey, to each their own. I'll be watching. Not really. I'll be watching it on ESPN. But actually, scratch it. The headliner of the game, the headliner of the week, Michigan at Oklahoma. That game. I don't know. I still kind of like Ole Miss. Actually, I still like Mississippi State hosting Arizona State the best. Me personally, that might be the best game of the week. Kansas at Missouri's up there as well. Number 3, how about that? Michigan at Oklahoma. That's going to be a Norman, so Oklahoma's got the advantage there. But Michigan starting true freshman Bryce Underwood. He looked pretty good last week. Oklahoma's got, what's his name? It's the dude from Washington State, John Mateer. He was really good at Washington State last year. He transferred to Oklahoma. They're hoping he's their savior. If not, Brent Venables, we might have to show you the door. I'm not going to see that door right there. That's the door exiting Chantal, because you're not coming on the talk show if you get fired. I think that one's going to be a really good game. That's 7:30, so that's going to be primetime kickoff. You know, the beers will have been flowing all day at that point. Might throw a little cheddar cheese on it. Who knows? But I think that's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be definitely a defensive slugfest. That game could very well end 20-17. Also, just like the Iowa State game where I said 17-13. But that game easily could end like 2017. And I wouldn't be surprised. But let's see if Bama can bounce back against UL Monroe this weekend. Oh, that's a barn burner. Anyway, let's move on. NFL. It starts this weekend as well. I mean, let's look. I think I'm more excited for college just because the games overall are more exciting. I'm biased towards college games, college baseball, college football, college basketball. I don't even watch NBA, but NFL starts this weekend. I mean, it starts tonight. It's 7:00 right now. I think it starts at 8:00 tonight, maybe 8:30. It starts soon. I mean, it's Dallas Cowboys visiting the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. We're doing our Eagle interpretation. I'm a Jags fan, so just like my Rays, just like my Florida Gators lately for football, I have not had a ton to cheer for throughout my teenage to adult years. Not consistently, at least, especially not with the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I'm very excited about this season. I figured when they hired the new head coach, Liam Cohen, I thought it was going to be like a big rebuild. And I real quick got out of that. I said, no, sir, we're back. We've got, you got the quarterback locked up for 5 more years. You've got a couple guys locked up. You got a star receiver who can be top 5 in the league. I'm fully on board. If they win anything less than 9 games this season, it's a disappointment. I don't really care. The only way it wouldn't be is if like Trevor gets hurt or something. Like if Trevor Lawrence gets hurt and he's out the majority of the season, whatever. At that point, okay, you can't really expect much after that. But if the Jags do anything worse than 9-8, I'm calling it a disappointment. I don't really care. I think the defense has to improve somewhat. I mean, they were absolutely abysmal last year. They literally could not stop anything. Like I don't think you understand. It was the worst ever trying to watch that team last year. But what I wanted to do, and I think if I get technical with the graphics, I might try to do a projection for every division winner. I might not do the playoffs yet. I feel like it's really early. But I'm going to, if I can get fancy with the graphics, I'm going to try to post it to the social medias. I'm having trouble getting logged into TikTok on my computer for this account, so might not be posting on TikTok soon. But we're working on the Instagram. But I'm going to go game by game for the NFL. And, if you don't agree with me, I don't really care. I'm still right. And if I'm not right, it's because it was the players' fault. It absolutely was not my fault. I didn't make a bad pick. The players just made the bad plays. Let's call it as it is. But starting tonight, 8:20 p.m. Eastern, Dallas Cowboys at Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles start the season 1-0. Dallas starts 0-1 in the post-Micah Parsons future. Friday, tomorrow night, we've got another game. It's the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. Oh, cool. LA's got their own game. Wrong. This game's in Brazil, you freaking idiots. I'm actually really excited for this. I think the Chargers, I have Justin Herbert on like my only fantasy team that I have this year. And I think he's going to have a big season. I remember my friend Cooper at work told me Jim Harbaugh, or John, no, Jim Harbaugh woke up one night in the middle of off season and like in a cold sweat and just randomly thought to himself, he said, God, I gotta get Justin Herbert to the Hall of Fame. And so you know what that means? He's gonna let him sling that thing this year. Pause. He's gonna let Justin Herbert yuck that ball all over the field this season. The only problem is, can Quentin Johnston catch it? They have Lad McConkey, he's a lunch pail guy, first one in, last one out. I'm just saying, he's set it and forget it in terms of wide receiver one. If Quentin Johnston can catch the ball, Justin Herbert might go insane this year because they got they have Najee, who's a really good like goal line back, third down back, change of pace guy. But the guy they drafted, Omarion Hampton, I'm really excited for. I think he's going to be really good. Side note, this running back class from this year's draft might go down as like very, very early. We haven't seen any actual gameplay, but like this might go down as like one of the better running back classes in recent memory. I mean, there are a ton of big names, and I think only one or two got taken in the first round. That's just the way teams draft now, but a lot of really good running backs from this class. Really excited for them, but it's so hard to bet against the Chiefs. But it's international. The Chiefs devil magic. I call it the Chiefs devil magic. Once you get out of the U.S., it's nullified. At that point, it's an even playing field. I'm going Chargers. Give me Chargers upset week 1. Chiefs come out a little Super Bowl hungover, even though they didn't win it. I think they come out a little slow. So that's the Thursday game. I have the Eagles. Friday, I have the Chargers beating the Chiefs. We'll go ahead and hit the Monday night game just so I can get all the prime time, like nighttime games out of the way, and then we'll go Sunday. Monday night is the Vikings at the Bears, which I don't understand this. Like Cowboys, Eagles, Chiefs, Chargers, Vikings, Bears. We got all these divisional matchups in week 1. I'm kind of surprised. Like I think it happens sometimes, but I didn't realize it happened. There's this many this year. I mean, also the Bengals play the Browns, the Bucks play the Falcons. I mean, there's a lot of divisional matchups in week 1. I'm here for it. Let's do it. Let's create the chaos. Back on track. Monday night game, Vikings at Bears. I'm gonna have to go with the Bears here. I like the Vikings. I really like Kevin O'Connell. I really like Kevin O'Connell. I think he's really just a hell of a head coach. And they have arguably the best wide receiver in the league, maybe the second best in Justin Jefferson. But J.J. McCarthy's first game as a starter, it's basically his rookie season. I think it's got to take at least a little bit of time for the gears to get turning, for him to really get rolling. I mean, this is his first real game action. I don't really count preseason. In 2 years, basically. In a year and a half, 2 years since he won the national championship at Michigan. I mean, you got to think it's got to take at least a little bit. And the Bears, they got Ben Johnson, they got Caleb Williams, they've got Luther Burden as a wide receiver, they got Rome Odunze, they got DJ Moore, I mean, they've got who's the tight end they got? They drafted the dude from Michigan this year, Colson Lovestead or something like that. Probably botched that completely. My bad, dude. If you're watching this, I know you are. But they got weapons. I just think it'll probably be a little bit lower scoring affair, but I think the Bears pull away late. The Bears also have a really good defense, or projected to be a really good defense. So I got Bears in that one. And now let's go to the Sunday games. I'm just gonna go down the list. So I'm on the NFL website. So if you don't know why I'm listing these games in whatever order I am, this is why. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Atlanta. They're on the road traveling to Atlanta to play the Falcons. I got the Bucks. I know they just lost their offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen, to the Jags. I think there's too much talent on the Bucks. Although, oddly enough, the Falcons did sweep them last year, but that was with Kirk Cousins starting, Kurt Cobain. I just don't. I think he kind of just had the Buccaneers number, honestly, last year. I think he just picked apart that defense. Matchups matter a lot. But I think the Bucks go and make a statement. They start 1-0 in the division, and they get that tiebreaker so far over the Falcons. Cincinnati Bengals at Cleveland Browns. The Bengals are notorious for starting slow in the early season. Last year, they lost to the Patriots week 1. They just notorious, like their offense has started very slow. The problem is the Browns stink. I mean, there's no other way to put it. The Browns really stink. They have Joe Flacco, who's going to give them some magic. They've got a couple pieces on defense. I don't really see it with them. I don't know. I think the Bengals may come out guns a blazing and put up like 35 on them. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think the Bengals win a lower scoring game, like a 24 to 13 game. It's kind of ugly, but they get it done. The problem is the Jags go to Cincinnati week 2, so I'm really hoping they do struggle offensively for like 2 weeks, and then after the Jags leave town, hey, they remember how to play football again. That's cool. Bengals win week 1. I'm hoping they win week 2. Bengals beat the Browns. Next one, Miami, the Dolphins traveling to Indianapolis to play the Colts. Now, I understand the Colts don't have a great QB situation. They named Daniel Jones a starter. They signed him to a 1-year deal, and they benched AR basically, which they've done for like the 4th time, and it's only his 3rd season. I mean, you got to just commit to one thing or the other. Either start him and just ride the train until you know the wheels have come off, or just cut him. Like, you know what I mean? Cut him, give him a shot somewhere else to learn, because it's clearly just not clicking for him there. But I think the Colts have a good team. I mean, they do. And they're a really good team at home, I feel like. But the Colts have a sneaky, really good roster outside of the QB situation. But even then, Daniel Jones has his flashes. I'm going with Colts here. The Dolphins are a little bit in turmoil. I mean, back to Daniel, he always tries to play it cool. He's kind of a geek, but in a good way. He kind of tries to play like the cool geek almost. And I think he's cool, but I just don't think they're that good. Miami's like, they're not good against good teams. I think the Colts actually have a good roster. I'm going Colts. Again, and then next game, another AFC South team playing. The Jaguars, my Jacksonville Jaguars, are hosting the Carolina Panthers. I know my friend Joel at work has become a newfound Carolina fan, and he will be in attendance rooting against my Jaguars. But I think the Jags handle business here at the bank on Sunday. I think it's going to be a pretty close game. You know, I think the Jags maybe pull away late, but I got the Jags winning that game. I don't want to, go full on Jags biased, because I know over the course of the season, I'm definitely going to have Jags talk. It's going to be Jags talk during Shed talk, but I got Jags winning that game. We got to pick up the pace right here. We are taking forever on these picks, I feel like. Raiders go on the road to face the Patriots. I got Mike Vrabel. He's took a year off of coaching. Kind of became like an assistant for the Packers or something mid-season last year. It was a little odd, but I got the Patriots. I think they went and signed a bunch of defenders and free agents. They went and signed a bunch of free agent defenders. They've got Drake May coming back, year 2. They got a couple. They got Stephon Diggs as their wide receiver 1. I don't really trust it. I don't think they're going to have an explosive offense, but I think it's going to be almost complementary to their defense. The defense should be much improved in a very Mike Vrabel-esque defense. And then they're going to have a good run game. The Patriots have they have like 2 or 3 good running backs. They got Ramondre Stevenson, and I know he's listed as running back 3, but they have Travion Henderson, the rookie. I think he'll be the starter coming into the season. I think it's just the semantics of like, oh, you got to earn it, basically. You got to earn that starting role. Like, shut up, dude. He's the best back in that room. He's got the most talent. Let him start. I got Patriots. Arizona Cardinals at New Orleans Saints. Yawn. Give me the Cardinals. That's all I'm saying about that. Trey McBride's awesome as a tight end 1 in fantasy. Trey McBride's awesome. Maybe try that too. Steelers at the Jets. This is the Aaron Rodgers Bowl, as I like to call it. Or also the Turd Bowl. Not really. The Turd Bowl is October 11th. Remember that? That was in episode 1. But Aaron Rodgers faces his former team that he was there with for 2 years, played for 1 and 4 snaps, or 3 snaps. 1 year and 3 snaps, basically. The Jets are just the Jets. It's at New York. They might have a sneaky game, early season, get some magic with Justin Fields. It's actually kind of cool. I didn't think about that. Justin Fields was the Steelers starting quarterback to start last season, and now he is the Jets starting quarterback. And then Aaron Rodgers was the Jets starter, now he's the Steelers starter. So it's a couple quarterbacks facing their old teams of last year. So I think that's pretty cool. But give me the Steelers on the road for the upset. Go Terrible Towel. Or go Terrible Towels. I think it's going to be a little bit of a lower scoring game, but I got Steelers in that one. Moving right along, another divisional game. New York Giants at Washington Commanders. Give me the Commanders. I really like them. I fell in love with that team last year, like during their playoff run. They were really fun. Jaden Daniels is awesome. Terry McLaurin is fun. They've got Austin Eckler in the backfield. Just like when he's healthy, he's cool. He's awesome. Problem is he's never healthy. I think the Commanders win this game. Giants could be sneaky. like surprisingly decent this year. They have Russell Wilson starting to start the season, but I think Jackson Dart or Jameis will take over at some point. The goal is for Dart to take over. Maybe if the season kind of seems like it's going to the shitter, and they kind of just feel like, hey, you know what? Like it's kind of a lost season. There's really no benefit to playing Russ over Dart at this point. Like let Dart get the reps. Start ripping darts out there. That'd be pretty sick. Jackson Dart ripping cigs right there, like while he's just ripping darts down the field. That'd be insane. What am I talking about right now? I got Commanders. Tennessee Titans on the road at Denver. Tennessee, I think, I don't know. They got Cam Ward. I'm a hater of Tennessee, but I think they'll obviously be improved this year. I think Cam Ward will be pretty good. He's very good at just operating the pocket under pressure and being basically Mr. Cool when it's a very pressure situation. But I think Denver's got a really good defense, and I really like Bo Nix, Mr. Bo Shiesty at quarterback, and they have Cortland Sutton, one of the most underrated wide receiver ones in the league. I got Denver at home in Mile High. I got it. Denver, book it. Week 1 win. San Francisco on the road to face Seattle Seahawks. Another NFC West divisional match. What? Every other game is a divisional matchup in week 1. This is crazy. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this game. I would choose 49ers any other year, but I think Jawan Jennings is back, so they'll have Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings as their wide receiver 1 and 2 going into this season. Brandon Ayuk is not ready. He'll probably be back in midseason. They should have Christian McCaffrey, so that'll be cool. That'll be cool for the running game. He's always a difference maker. Seattle, they don't have Geno anymore. They have Sam Darnold. Okay, never mind. I'm going 49ers. Seattle signed Sam Darnold this offseason. They signed Cooper Kupp, so their wide receiver core is Jackson Smith and Jigba and Cooper Kupp. And then the running back room, I like the running back room. Kenneth Walker, what's the other? Zach Charbonnet. They're both fun. Sam Darnold, I think, could be pretty good for them. They'll win 9 or 10 games, maybe. But I got San Francisco going on the road, kind of righting the ship from last year. I think they start off on a good note. Yeah, I got 49ers in that one. Detroit Lions at Green Bay Packers. Oh, baby. Micah Parsons' debut in the green and gold. Oh, I'm so pumped for that. We got to take that epidural, though. Got to get the cortisone shot. For week 1, that's not a great look. You got to get the epidural before a week 1 game. That's not great. Not great, but you know what? If he performs, I don't care. The Lions lost both their coordinators, but, they've got the Dan Campbell kind of identity. He runs a really good program there. I say program as if it's college, but he's got a really good identity there. They're tough-nosed, gritty. You're not going to out-physical them. I can promise you that. You're not going to out-effort Detroit. But first game with 2 new coordinators in the especially post-Ben Johnson era, I'm going to go Green Bay right here. Go, Pat, go. I'll have my cheese head on. It's at Lambeau week 1. I'm gonna say Green Bay here. I think Detroit got them both times last year, but I'm gonna say Green Bay here. I don't even know who's favored, but I'm gonna say Green Bay with the upset here, week 1. Last 2 games: Houston Texans at LA Rams. Matthew Stafford was kind of up in the air to play this entire time, and I think this week they said he'll be good to go. I really want the Rams as a Jags fan to beat the Texans. ass. I really want them to beat Houston, just for the Jags' sake, but I genuinely think they will. This is in LA, so got the time change advantage. Houston's got to travel week 1. They're down Joe Mixon, which is a weird injury that they won't give much information about. I don't really get it. It's kind of weird, but they do have Nick Chubb. I mean, Nick Chubb's awesome. I love Nick Chubb. I just hope he has 2 really bad games against the Jags. But it's going to be, again, I keep saying this. This one's going to be a lower scoring game, I think. Both teams have some really good defenses. I think it'll definitely come down late fourth quarter. Who's going to get a stop, basically? Can someone get a stop late fourth quarter? I got Houston on the road losing to LA. Go Rams. And then our Sunday night football matchup. A repeat of the AFC divisional banger from last year. The Baltimore Ravens on the road traveling to face the Buffalo Bills, the Fighting Josh Allens, or shall I say, the Fighting Haley Steinfelds. That was terrible. That was terrible. I'm sorry. God, that just ruined the whole episode's ruined now. I am so sorry. But this is going to be a hell of a game. I mean, Sunday Night Football, Week 1. Baltimore's on the road traveling to try to get their revenge against trying to get their revenge against Buffalo. I don't know if you guys remember that last year, but AFC divisional game, they Baltimore scored, and it brought them within two. I'm pretty sure. Oh God, I can't remember. Did Buffalo win by 1 or 2 last year? Whatever. Regardless, Baltimore scored very late. I think less than a minute left, and they were going for 2 to tie the game, I believe. And Mark Andrews wide open in the end zone. Lamar throws it to him, and he just dropped it. I mean, it wasn't even a good defensive play. He dropped it. Game's over. Season's over. What a heartbreaking way to end the season. And first game of the next season, you got to face the same team in their house again. I mean, this is just like nightmarish for Mark Andrews. Or it could be a great time to redeem himself. Unfortunately, I got Buffalo winning this game. Give me the Bills. I would assume they're favored because they're at home. Give me the Bills money line in this game. I like them. I really like Josh Allen. They say a lot of reports out of camp say Keon Coleman has made a huge jump for their wide receiver room, which would be massive because they need a wide receiver one. They didn't have it last year. They let Diggs go the year before because he was kind of like a drama queen. Let him go to Houston. And you could just tell they just didn't have a wide receiver one last year. They had a really good run game. Josh Allen's going to do Josh Allen on the ground and through the air. But if Keon Coleman can really step up and actually be a wide receiver one, they're dangerous. They could get over the Kansas City hump. Who knows? Maybe not. But we'll see. Whew. Okay. We're 41 minutes in, and I basically have only been talking college football and NFL. It's been glorious. I hope you guys enjoyed that, because I sure as hell did, as you could tell. I just rambled on about that for like 35 minutes. That was awesome. I got a couple more things on the agenda. I'll probably bump them to next week, or the next pod, which will be next week. I was talking to a couple people at work. I'm trying to figure out an actual schedule. I'm thinking now that the season's starting, Monday night, either record Monday night and release Tuesday, or record Tuesday night, release Wednesday as the first episode of the week, and then the second one, record Thursday night, as I'm doing right now, and release Friday. I think that's a decent strategy. That might be a decent game plan. Maybe either record Thursday night, maybe Friday night. Who knows? I do kind of like the idea of recording Thursday night and just everyone waking up and their TGIF, their Fridays are starting off great, even better, because you got a whole new Shed Talk to listen to on your way to work or at work, wherever you want to listen to, in the shower, I don't know, wherever. Who knows? I think that's what we're going to try to go with, actually. I might have just decided that on air. However, hope everyone has a great weekend. If you're on Spotify, on your YouTube, wherever you're watching this at, that's actually the only 2 places you can watch it at. These are the only 2 places I upload it. Leave a comment. Any suggestions on what I should bet on, content, what you want to listen to, because trust me, I'm all ears. Literally, I know you can't see him. I got the headset on. I'm all ears. I'm here for all the suggestions. Intros, outros. Give me some tips. But we're growing this thing. We're working on growing this thing, guys. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week.